From Mallory Park, it is good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be watching from in the world. It is time for ACSL to return. Welcome to 2026. It is great to have your company, and we are getting all set and ready to go racing for what is the traditional race for ACSL. We've had it twice before. We've had it at the Nordschleife, we've had it at Bathurst, but now it is time for the drivers to take on the challenge of this venue, which you can see in your picture. We're taking a look at the start-finish straight, and just like that, we're taking a look at some of the corners with Brandon Bartop as he navigates his way by. I'm your commentator, Omi. It is a pleasure to be back with you after, well, very nearly 1 year away from the mic here at ACSL. Great to be back with you for this one-off. It should hopefully be quite an exciting race. So, before that race, we've got a 5-minute qualifying, and that 5-minute qualifying, which will be, of course, highly intense for the drivers because they've got limited amounts of time to get a good lap time on the board. So that's a huge challenge for them. And then you can get a lot of traffic because remember, quite a few cars, short circuit and contact like that, like you've just seen. So expect a few drivers to be getting held up and to be getting in each other's way. Now I can tell that I've been pushed out onto the circuit like that, so I'm going to have to reset and back to the pit lane I go. But yes, with the way the pit lane is structured, a lot of drivers are managing to smash into me, which is not ideal. But hopefully we won't be seeing too much of that, as we currently had Pozo go fastest of all. Ignore the top time. We have a few layouts around here, so that is very much clearly a lap time that has been taken on the wrong layout, and you've cut a bit of the circuit. Has Reventon at that moment, so ignore that lap time. Anything from second downwards is more representative in terms of what you can expect as Pozo finds himself going through the grass out there on the circuit. So, as we get a bit of contact and a spin, Brandon Bartop's around, Shergan is involved, Supernova's involved. I'm in the barrier somehow as well. You can already tell it's going to be one of those chaotic races. We've got a safety car, by the way, not to actually come out during the race in terms of big incidents, pile-ups and stuff you've just seen, because we're going to be having something very cool. So let me get into it. I was trying to explain to you the format, and then I got interrupted due to all of this that has gone on out there on the circuit. So let's turn it over to Brantos and hope everything remains calm and I can talk to you. Dantis Papen goes up to second place. Right, so we're just ending practice, and then we will be going into a 5-minute qualifying session. It will set the grid for 50 minutes of racing. The 50 minutes of racing officially is not 50, it's 52. That is because the 2 minutes is for a formation lap we will be having. That is where the safety car driver comes in. I'll explain the whole procedure and how it all works when it actually happens, but we will be having a formation lap and it will be led off by the safety car. So he will be there for the start, but we won't actually be having safety car interruptions throughout the race. So the 50-minute race will go on. Of course, it will be run to full distance without any restarts unless there is any forms of drama. So I'm not going to sit here and promise you that we're just going to get going and we won't have any other interruptions even without a safety car. But you know, it's ACSL, it's these absolutely crazy machines. This might not be the most fastest thing in the world, but it means when you've got lots of drivers around a tight configuration of circuit, it can lead to some interesting moments, let's just say, and it can lead to plenty of cars being spun by each other, spinning by themselves. So there's quite a lot of different possibilities as we head over to the hairpin. That is Shaw's hairpin down there, and then you head into the next few corners, the bus stop chicane. We, of course, just passed, but we make our way straight on into Devil's Elbow. And then Kirkby Straight comes up very, very quickly indeed. That's the conclusion of practice. And now it is time to move on to our qualifying session. One which hopefully will be closely contested. And we will progress on to that in a few moments' time. finding the lap time is going to be tricky. Of course, what you do in practice, you're not going to be able to necessarily produce when it comes to a 5-minute qualifying. I mean, you can give them 30 minutes, and there's probably a high chance they won't be able to produce what they did in practice. And I mean, in terms of practice, if you've actually been practicing for quite a few hours, etc., that type of thing. If you've only practiced one lap, then yeah, you're probably going to end up going quicker. But high amounts of practice, you won't always be able to execute the best lap in 30 minutes, let alone 5. 5 is what the drivers will have before a long race. Most of it will be taking place in the race, of course, all of the drama, all of the action for us. But the 5-minute qualifying, I guess, it can mean that you put yourselves at the front, and it can mean that you can avoid a bit of chaos. So I guess that is somewhat of a bonus, everybody. I guess that is somewhat of a bonus if you can secure yourself a good position on the grid. Let us know in the live chat on who you are supporting and cheering on across this fun race. It is a fun race, but I think that undersells it because, as I've mentioned, it is a traditional event here at ACSL. We've had it at Nordschleife, we've had it at Bathurst. You get some weird combos, and it leads to some very interesting runnings. We are about 1 minute away. So, for that 1 minute, should we take ourselves to commentator's cam? Hello, everyone. We are all set and ready to go. So if I get my paper up in front of me, I'll read you the results of what took place in the last 2 events. Jason Declin ended up taking the checkered flag first when it came to the opening race of this event at the Nordschleife. Dantis Papen was in second, and Moro was in third. When it comes to round number 2, it was Papen who was able to get to the victory that day, ahead of Cole and then Kobe Mayonet as well. That completed your top 3. A few other drivers who you might see today, Brandon Bartop found himself in P6 on that occasion. I believe that was a DNF though for him. So while it was P6, I don't believe he was actually classified. So, you know, he's not on good form. He's not on good form, but who knows how it's going to play out. Okay, that's enough of commentator's cam. Let's move things back over and head into qualifying, which right now you can only see myself, but very quickly, all of a sudden, there we go. You've got multiple drivers in there about to attack 5 minutes of qualifying. So those are a few of the drivers who have had success around this circuit in the past that I've just read out to you. But who will add their name this year at Mallory Park? That is the question that we ask. Kasper Markiniak making his way through. Of course, your Season 6 champion. If you have not seen Season 7's trailer, then please do. Because it is... we've had a great team that has created that and put that together, including some of the history of ACSL. And Kasper, of course, the Season 6 champion, able to take his touring car BMW to the top ahead of everyone else. Spapen was the runner-up that season, but Spapen is also a champion in his own right. Season 4 taking the crown in both categories. Of course, we had 2 running that season. We had the Peugeot Cup that was on, and the Ginetta GT4 one that was also in the running. I can see in the live chat people are letting me know and answering the question of what they are supporting. We've got some cars being supported. We've got the safety car being supported. Personally, I mean, I can't be biased on commentary, but I can like the safety car. Like, what's bad about the safety car? So let's just say that's possibly the one that I'm going to be getting behind. George Given is supporting George Given. Wow, what a surprise. Absolutely extraordinary stuff. And we've got some support for Raritan as well. Right. So, guess what? We have had 5 minutes of qualifying. We have 5 minutes of qualifying, and we've already done half of it. So, let's get some lap times on the board. Kasper is at the top at the moment by half a second to Dantis Papen. Then we find ourselves with Marcus Raritan finding the 4th fastest time, and then Dimitrov in 5th. Brandon Bartop is in P6, make that P7. A good improvement there from the driver in your picture of Targazuz in a bunch of traffic, as you can see. Also, the drivers have been able to create fun liveries for themselves. of course, which don't violate any form of specific rules. You can see some headlights being flashed by some of the drivers, Porsche Super Cup style. What we get a lot in GT racing. We're getting it here because in qualifying, you want to push on. And that is exactly the case for Targazus as he tries to navigate his car, he'll hope, to the top. But it is our reigning champion trying to start off 2026 on a high in absolute style. A bit of an error there, a bit of a mistake. We've had a few other drivers go off, the hairpin proving to be quite difficult indeed. Absolutely extraordinary running so far. Dimitriev has, well, momentarily came to a halt, has continued on right now. I did actually see him in practice spin and have a moment there. We had quite a bit of contact in practice earlier on, and, well, making his way through Green Hill, improving up to third position, so that is the third fastest time for him. Casper, I was trying to say, had a car spin in front of him, but was able to continue on. So, Green Hill with a good effort, with a good lap. Marcos in P4, and then you have Reventon in P5. These drivers all trying to improve the benchmark. We've got under 1 minute to go in this qualifying session before a 50-minute race that will be coming the driver's way. Is Dantis Papen gonna be able to produce anything to try and get ahead of the reigning champion? That is the question that we ask. You're going to see many drivers, though, who are going to try and give it their all. We cut over to Ryan Cole. Fiala has had a moment. He's one of the drivers you can see stationary further back. There's George Given with the Lightning McQueen with the eyes as well that you can see out of the car. To second position, front row. Great improvement there from Targazus. Great stuff coming in from him. Now, that will force a response. That will need a response from Spapen. As you can see, we've got cars spinning absolutely everywhere right now. We're focusing on our top drivers in terms of the leaderboard at the moment, because there's so many we could watch. The top two are done. So they've taken the checkered flag. They've already produced their best. The checkered flag is flying at the end of the 5-minute qualifying. Is Spapen going to be able to produce the lap time? Yes! To the front row! Great stuff from Dantis Papen. He's missed out on pole position by a 1/10 of a second. Marcos is on the second row. He is ahead of Targazus, so he goes to P3. Is Greenhill going to be able to do anything, I wonder? Greenhill making his way through. Rontian's had a bit of a disconnect, so hopefully he can get back in very, very quickly. Greenhill, though, about to cut the beam, about to see whether he can do anything. The answer is no. George Given comes across the line, P10 for him. Pozo is 9th. Bartop is 8th. Is there anyone else still yet to give it their all? Dimitriov is heading to the line. He was stationary earlier on in this qualifying session. And I'm not seeing anything being done by him. Churgan comes over the line, P17 for him, so he's gone just ahead of Supernova there. And, well, I was about to get excited as the driver shoots to the top, but I don't think that will, I can very much assure you right now, that one will most likely not be counting up and improving by 7.1 seconds. I think he was coming into the pit lane and it detected it that way. I'd assume that is probably the way he's been able to get himself to the fastest time. But yes, that surely will not be our pole sitter, finding a major improvement over the line. Okay, now, I would like to quickly interrupt myself, interrupt everyone, whatever you're doing. As we get on to the grid, we will not be taking the 5 laps procedure. Okay, the race will not be getting underway. We won't be getting all loud up here in the commentary box for a race start. None of that. What's going to be happening is the 6 lights, of course, in Assetto Corsa will go out. And what will happen, therefore, is the safety car driver at the back will move himself to the front, and we will get a formation up. That's why it's a 52-minute race rather than a 50. So that's what's going to be happening. when it comes to things. We're just waiting to get ourselves back in. Let us know your thoughts then. So on that qualifying session, a few different discussions going on because of course we had Reventon who. So we had Reventon, of course, who went over the road. Okay, we've got the 1 minute countdown. I'm gonna have to move myself to the pit lane. There we go, and then we will cut over to the grid view. Now that's a reminder. So I'll talk you through it as it happens, but as the 6 lights go out, we will not be going racing. It will not indicate the start to the race. It will indicate, of course, just the start to the formation lap. So our safety car driver will move himself to the front. So realistically, he's the one we've got to be watching. He'll come, he'll make his way to the front. He'll lead us for 1 lap. So the formation lap, even when these lights go out, the formation lap doesn't begin, by the way. It's just part of the procedure. I'm letting you all enjoy it. But it will be everyone's still stationary and the safety car's underway. The safety car leaves its grid spot, and Vibik, the driver behind the wheel, pulls himself up in position as we get going for the formation lap. So the formation lap is underway. The drivers now make their way through. I can finally now cut over to Vibik in that safety car leading us. So the drivers have already been instructed. The drivers have already been instructed on how to handle this. It will be Markiniak on pole position. Dantis Papen will be alongside. So the safety car is out there for the moment, as we have a few drivers beeping further back. So they're meant to maintain a single file formation. So that's what's meant to be happening at this phase. And the Fords are about to be let loose and released to race for the 3rd running of this event. It might be a fun race, but in ACSL history, it's more than that. So Vibik brings them through in crawling space. I can see a few position changes going on, but of course they'll need to be a bit more cautious on that. Vibik will now pull off and make his way through. The rest of them, though, will get ready to get going very, very shortly. So that's the procedure. They'll be warming up the tyres at the moment, and they'll be preparing themselves. The leader will, of course, have the advantage as soon as the safety car peels off. Marcos will be 3rd position when we get going. Can he put some pressure on the top 2? What form of chaos will we get? Because, well, chaos can sometimes be a big part. As Markiniak nearly runs into the side of the safety car. Everything is okay though. The safety car pulls off. It is over to you, Kasper Markiniak, our reigning champion, looking to start 2026 on a high. Dantis Papen looking to try and get his year off in absolute style as he looks to try and return back to the crown after he has 2 championships from season number 4. Everyone else trying to make a name for themselves. How is this going to play out? Kasper brings us up towards the line. And for the traditional race here at ACSL, we are green and racing, and Kasper Markiniak leads us down towards the first corner. Spapen in 2nd position. Marcus is in 3rd. We have some side-by-side racing going on in the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th as they try and navigate their way through on the opening lap. James Greenhill is in P5. Hozo finds himself in P6 then. What a crazy start it has been to racing proceedings as they try and navigate their way by. Apologies if there was momentarily some form of lag on your screen. One of my monitors decided to shut off, but it is back up and running now as we see a big spin incoming there for Brantos. So he's gone round. Zelensky's coming to the pit lane, and a big disappointment for Taraguz, who has found himself straight back into the pit lane. So he found himself straight back in the pit lane. 48 minutes of racing remain then as they come over the line, and Dantis Papen is very much well on our race leader as he looks to try and take P1 away. Greenhill finds himself P4 about 7/10 away. The close battle though is Pozo trying to put some pressure on Brandon Bartop. Is he going to be able to do it? Let's jump on board and see behind the wheel. Can he try to be later on the brakes? Bartop, well, lagging all over the place to some degree, and it's not even a contest at the end. Moving up through, and P5 for Pozo, who takes the position. And you can see in the background Bartop sliding all over the place, trying to hang on. Williams is also looking for a move as he tries to get past Ronnie, and it's going to be a spin. It's going to be a spin there for Seb Williams. He goes round, and looks like we've had contact further up ahead. Brandon Bartop is round along with Pozo. Two of the drivers who were running higher up now find themselves wheel to wheel, but lower down than they would have wanted. Such a big disappointment. Churgan has had a few positions gained, and he is battling up against Cole at the moment. So he's wheel to wheel with Cole. It is a mandatory pit stop, by the way. You have to come into the pit lane once. That is the way it works. We look at Spapen as he tries to put some pressure. 5/10 of a second. Some of the traffic you can see ahead, because of it being a short lap, would be the pit stops that have come in. So, of course, trust the leaderboard. And another car placement on the circuit might be a little bit iffy, but hopefully everything should be quite clear. At the moment, oh my word, Brandon Bartop into the wall, and contact once again with Pozo. But it looks like there was definitely some lag involved to some degree. We saw the car moving about. There, George Given has gained a position. Very easy to spot George Given, isn't it? Very easy to spot George Given. It's not the most hardest thing. With that livery. When I saw the liveries come through, it was immediately clear that would be the case. Supernova round as well. That'll be a word that we say quite a bit in commentary today. But that is just the way things are going to be going for these drivers in this format around this circuit. It's just the way things work. So, we find ourselves with 45 minutes. Markiniak, Spapen, Marcos, Greenhill and Alex, who have made their way through. Alex, though, is off the road, so he finds himself, and look at that, we've had, is that Fial? I think that's a lapped car that was momentarily making their way through, but we had another driver just absolutely floor it on the grass. Not any of the calmness, but just absolutely on it, and with the power down. I'll keep you up to date, by the way, with who has made pit stops and who has not, because I know at this phase it's going to be very, very tricky to try and get a bit of an understanding of that. Move going on further back, and they're getting very close to contact. Is contact. That Supernova, and just ahead of him goes Brandon Bartop. So Bartop makes his way through. Signal doesn't seem to be the best. We've got a car that is absolutely flying absolutely everywhere at the moment. Apologies, I took my lip mic away from my mouth. And believe it or not, it doesn't work if you do that. Yeah, it's not the most ideal sight on board with Brandon Bartop. Not the most ideal sight if your name is Fiala, who has gone off into the wall, but continues on. A bit of a battle going on here between Churgan and Given. So George Given finds himself just in behind of Churgan, who has got ahead. Rontian is the car that is in front of the pair. Given trying to come back, has got the inside line, and they run wheel to wheel, millimetre stuff between them, and Given is going to try and fight his way by, and is he going to be able to do so, trying to find the gap? We jump on board with Given, edging ahead, pulling in front, and looking to try and have the possession of P6 by the time that we get down to the next braking zone. And with the inside line, that will be the case, as meanwhile, it's the lead for Dantis Papen. Lapped cars causing trouble, and Kasper Markiniak loses P1, but he's still wheel to wheel between himself and Dantis Papen, who is going to have the lead. 2 ACSL champions going for it, and Markiniak hangs on to the position. Papen in second place, but a bit of a battle developing there between them, just as Chergan is ahead of Given. And these two have been going at it for a couple of corners now. So, they're both behind Rontian. And trying to get involved, it's going to be Pozo. Given has got ahead. Given makes the move and takes the position. But now, can Pozo try and pose a bit of a threat to Chergan and to Given? 1.1 second is now the gap between them and Rontian due to the amount of battling they have been doing. And onto the grass we go with Chergan, and the position for Pozo is taken. So he's taken the place there at that moment. Meanwhile, Brantos, by the way, has got past Alex. So Alex has lost out a place. They were wheel banging and a bit of contact was made, but they have continued on. And then we get to this tight part of the circuit where we've seen already quite a bit of contact take place. As we get to a bit of calmness, I'd just quickly like to say a thank you to Vibik. It was absolutely brilliant job as he got the rolling start procedure going. Talking about Greenhill, he's been sitting in behind. I think he's about to get on with some overtaking. He's up the inside of Marcos, and he has been able to get by. Nice and tidy stuff, one of the more simpler overtakes that we have seen so far. But of course Marcos is going to try and have his right to reply, and he's going to try and come back. Places the car on the outside. Can he try and get better traction off the corner? Doesn't appear like he's had it for the moment, but a chance could definitely still come in for Marcos as he goes onto the grass momentarily, but doesn't really interrupt his momentum. Now he's tucked in the slipstream, getting closer, left or right. Which way is it going to be? It's an awkward decision. It's left, it's outside, and can he roar the long way round? Can he keep his foot in? He's always going to get pushed into the grass if he attempts that, but actually, to be fair, Greenhill gives him space. Fair racing between them. They're still going for it. Marcus, is the line going to go in favour of him? Because he's been brave so far. He'll still have to go to the outside if he wants to try and get this move done. He'll brake early. What about the cutback? Could that be a possibility for him? Better traction off the corner. I mean, it's slightly better, but not enough. Not enough to take advantage. So overall, he lost out in this specific tug of war, basically, that was going on between these two. Wasn't able to win it. As we make our way through on the circuit, Pozo directly in behind of Given, and Chergan is finding himself there as well, and that is going to be one of the back markers, so some of the traffic getting in the way there, and a bit of contact for Chergan. Alex very nearly has a moment out there as well. Targazuz is trying to recover as they make their way through. So just currently taking a look. The highest driver, according to my timing board, the highest driver who has made a pit stop is currently, as we see a switch in position come in, it was momentarily Dimitrov, but I think it is Targazuz who is the highest driver who has made a pit stop. I'll just make sure I refresh that to give you the correct information. Meanwhile, we look back at George Given. George Given, whose eyes, well, really say that they're only focused on going ahead today. I mean, he's going to have Pozo, who will be meeting him at the apex. A drag race was always going to favour Given. And he'll get back to the chase. Back to the attack of trying to take P5 away. Alex with another moment, for a moment, out there on the circuit, but able to continue and get on. Looking for it the long way round. This would be a brave move from George Given. He's kept his foot to the floor. He's keeping the foot down, pinned, hoping that he can make and complete this maneuver. They're still going for it. It's tight to the curb. They're on what would be the left-hand side for the driver of Given at the time. But it's nice and fair racing between them. Once again, Given's the one to brave it a long way round. And George Given takes the position. That is quite a lot of bravery there. There was multiple moments where he would have had to keep the foot in. Back up the inside, there comes Ronti and not giving this one up. Great battle this is developing into. And now Given with the wider line has the better line and has the inside. Can he try and retake it? Of course, not as fast these cars as some of the other things we have driven here at ACSL, meaning that it all happens here at a bit more of a slower rate, so there's a lot more time for the drivers to react and do different things with the way they take their driving. But of course, it can mean that your switchbacks aren't as powerful as you would hope. But if these two just continue going at it like in the way they are, they're definitely going to keep us entertained for the remaining under 37 minutes that we have of this race. And Given is still not giving this one up. Absolutely fantastic. He's very close to dipping a tyre into the grass. The wide line was not the one to be on. And Pozo is going to get the chance. Here comes Pozo now. Trying to take the position. Inside line into the hairpin. Does he get it done? Given will try and keep himself on the better line. But whatever line he's on, Pozo has been able to stave off the threat. And he has taken the position with ease at that moment. But you know what's coming next. You know that Given is going to come charging back down the start-finish straight. And Given places the car on the inside. Outside belongs to Pozo. Pozo trying his absolute best to keep, of course, with Rontian, but Given is like, well, no, I want P6 back, and he's got P6 back. And now they both need to try and go on and chase the driver of Rontian ahead, who can finally relax somewhat. So he's finally had the opportunity now to take a deep breath after everything that he has been witnessing in front of him. Let us know on your thoughts of the race so far. We've completed about 15 minutes of racing. Racing that continues to deliver. You've got different races going on in this pack because you've got some drivers who have made a pit stop, and then you've got some that, like Pozo, are trying to battle a position up ahead but are getting held up. And Churgan is over there now, directly in behind, waiting for his chance. And look at how close it's getting! It was very nearly into the pit wall for Churgan, who set his personal best of the race, but very much could have had the worst moment of the race a few seconds on, because that was so tight between them. You don't want it to get tighter than that, do you? Now, can we see a fight back come in? Let's watch on board with Churgan, who will be focused as the traffic goes off the road. One of the back markers gonna rejoin, and we're heading into the wall. As meanwhile, further back, George Given is up against Ronti, and Churgan continues on. Here's Pozo. And then we cut over to George Given. Inside line for George Given. Is this going to be the place? He's been losing many, but now, in the style of Lightning McQueen, all the camera angles in the world, until we finally get to the one that we want to see. Is George Given ahead? The answer is no. George Given. Well, can he try and get this one done? This is a great long-term battle that we have developed here in this race. And hopefully Pozo, Churgan can join it. And those drivers in behind. Should we give this another go then, everybody? Bit of a drift, bit of a slide forgiven, meaning that it's not as big of a contest than it's been. On the last few occasions they've gone wheel to wheel, it was a done deal ever since Given had that slide, not enough momentum to carry on that fight at that moment. But you know what's going to be coming in the next few minutes, because Given will be right on it once again. Or you'll have to defend from Pozo. One of the two. We'll find out together which way it goes. Pozo with a personal best that time by the way, Kasper Marciniak has the lead by 2.4 seconds. So, while we have so much great battling going on, and you've got some for the lower position, some of the back markers, the traffic going wheel to wheel, and it means that Marciniak is finding himself in a spot of bother here because, well, he's trying to push on with his race, and you've got other drivers who are having the fight of their life out there on the circuit. It's not ideal stuff over the line. And, well, you've got 4 cars together out there on the circuit. Marciniak's going to try and thread the needle past them all. He's going to try and get past. Let's see. Then he's only got 1 more car to do so. This isn't, of course, 4th position, as I mentioned. Marciniak is already P1. And he's flashing the headlight. Flashing the headlight. There you go, you can hear it. He's beeping. Oh, my word. He's sliding around, and you can tell he's not in any interest of dealing with what he's doing, because the man we're on board with, well, he's going to have the same issue. Dantis Papen is coming, and that's the thing. That is the thing. When you find yourself in traffic, can't really do too much. But now Papen is 1.2 seconds away, but as I mentioned, he has to try go through the same hurdle that we just saw dealt with by Marciniak. Churgan is wheel to wheel there. Well, he was wheel to wheel only for a moment because Pozo came in to make his mandatory pit stop. So Pozo comes in to do his mandatory pit stop then, everybody. Bit of a moment out there on the circuit for Fiala. So he's gone off the road and will get his foot back to the floor and continue on. So he will continue then on with the race. Not the ideal racing line as he goes through the hairpin. So, by the way, as Greenhill comes into the pit lane, I was just about to mention that the driver P11 right now, Targaziz, is the highest one to make a pit stop according to my timing information up here in the commentary box. I know the pit stop data can sometimes be incorrect, but that is what I'm being told right now. Greenhill, of course, has now made his pit stop, so I'll make sure that updates, and I'll make sure that it is all correct. But yes, it should be Greenhill now who is the highest one to have made the pit stop. And yes, it is suggesting that Greenhill is, at the moment, the highest one indeed. Right. Bit of a battle developing then between Given and Rontian. We check in with them. Remember, this is one of the longer races. We've got an endurance series happening this season, so if you think this is long, then wait for that. Wait for that. We've got the 6 hours as well happening very soon. 6-hour endurance contest. Bit of a pre-season race. That one is where the drivers have a lot to prove and need to be careful, as it could affect their chances. It could affect their chances, everybody, for when it comes to the main season. We'll be running 3 different series. Of course, if you haven't watched the trailer, then once we are done here with this race, then please go on and do so. Because, well, there's quite a lot of good information revealed, and as I mentioned earlier, some of the history of ACSL also. Very much condensed into a few minutes, and it's definitely worth the watch to know everything about all of the information. And of course, if you are watching on with us on YouTube and you aren't in our Discord server, then also make sure to change that by joining our Discord server to find out information when it comes out on how you can sign up, etc, etc. All of that information. Well, you can already sign up, but information on how to and how the season's going to run, etc. So, if you are currently watching on with us, I know a few drivers are listening in. Should we try and figure out who is listening in with how they drive out there on the circuit? I've had it before. A few drivers would start doing a few things out there on the circuit to get our attention. Of course, don't crash out the car. Don't do any of that. But let's see if we can figure out if any of the drivers know that we're well, if any of the drivers are listening up here to the commentary. But yes, for all of the other viewers though, who are just watching on and supporting some of the drivers, then let us know what you've made of the race so far. And any thoughts or opinions or even predictions that you have for the remaining 27 minutes and 30 seconds. We're just, by the way, watching Pozo make his way throughout there on the circuit as he deals with some of the traffic. I mean, there's nothing better, especially when it is just over midway through January, than watching cars go wheel to wheel. Because we've not had that for a while. At the moment in time. Right, let's now cut over to some battling. Even if it's not for position, just on circuit. 3 cars going for it. Zelensky, one of them, as he ran deep out there on the circuit. And yeah, it really is a bit of a, as Alex comes into the pit lane, very much is a bit of a, and we just currently have the top 2 also coming in as well. So the top 2 make it into the pit lane and are getting ready to resume. Let's hope no one hits out my safety car. There we go. No one does indeed. So Spapen much more slower that time around. So in the pit lane you have to stop. So, yeah, what I was trying to say was that Spapen, well, finds himself... Okay, so Spapen has got the advantage, I should say. I was about to say he hasn't. Spapen has then got the advantage out there on the circuit. It appeared like he was stationary for much longer. But yes, not the case. Okay. Or actually... Oh, Marquignac has spun. Well, I was about to say he moved back to the front, but Marquignac spins around. Spinning around. The timing board's really confusing us up here in the commentary box in terms of how they've all filtered out onto the circuit. Step back required in the commentary box as Marquignac nearly goes spinning again. So as I've pointed out, and also as being pointed out in the chat, Kasper Marquignac is not the net leader, because we were mentioning P11 driver at the time. Targasus had made a pit stop, and yes, he has made a pit stop, and he's right now battling with Fiala. So this is your net race leader. That's very important as they've filtered out. Dantis Papen is there. Okay, so, right, Marquignac is ahead of Dantis Papen. It appeared like Papen was stationary for a bit more longer. In the pit lane. Then it appeared to us that he was ahead. He is behind. Okay, so realistically, it's basically what we had in the pit lane, what we had before the pit stops, just right now resuming. But they've now got a bit of bigger trouble because they've got another driver to factor in, of Targasus, who went very early with the pit stop. Very early in the contest, he went with the pit stop, and now he has got the net lead out there on the circuit. So he has made the strategy work and now finds himself at the front. Extraordinary scenes. And Kasper Marquignac, if he wants to go on and win this, has to go and chase down Targasus in the remaining 24 minutes. So the top 4 still need to come in to the pit lane. Rontian does that now. Fiala still needs to pit as well, by the way. So this battle that you are seeing isn't really specifically one that is very much for the overall, but If you are Tiger's use, you have to be careful. You have to be careful because Markiniak could very much try and still get himself in the mix and battle for this position. Well, that's super tight. But Markiniak is 3.5 seconds away. I'd also like to quickly mention Greenhill has made his pit stop. So Greenhill is ahead of Dantis Papen. So I'd just like to quickly mention that as well. That is a bit important in terms of the net lead. So basically your top four at the moment is Targazius, then it's Markiniak, then it's Greenhill, and then it's Dantis Papen. So this battle between Greenhill and Spapen is for position. So according to the timings up here in the commentary box, he has made that mandatory pit stop. And Greenhill, to be fair, is trying to put some pressure on Markiniak. So the battle for who is going to go on and chase down our leader is very much on. Very much on. So we make our way through. Wherever you might be watching from in the world, it is an absolute pleasure to have your company here on ACSL's YouTube channel. We have just under 22 minutes to go in this race, and it is very much game on for the win, because I can tell you that Markiniak is trying his best to close in. Markiniak is giving his all to try close in, but I feel like this could very much be very interesting by the time we get to the end. So the only driver now yet to pit is Marcos. Marcos is the only driver who is yet to make a pit stop. And Spapen, I believe, has had contact. Spapen's had contact, I think, with Williams. I'm going to hazard a guess there. I saw them both getting... Well, I'm being told that they were both getting into contact. So I'm going to assume that it was them. But I believe Spapen has had contact with Seb Williams. And that has meant that now he finds himself dropping down and a complete race ruiner. Oh, Rontian with a bit of a drift. Momentarily stops, continues on, foot back to the floor, and he continues with running out there on the circuit. We're looking at about a 4 second gap between your top net 2 drivers in the race. So that moment is a big hit to Dantis Papen, because you've got now so many drivers that have made a pit stop that are now ahead. So you've basically now got Casper, of course, who was already ahead, Greenhill, who was already ahead, Dimitrov, Rontian, Given, and then Gabriel, Shergan, of course, Pozo, and then Lautaro. They're all now ahead of Dantis Papen. The entire list of drivers I've just read out, they've all made a mandatory pit stop and are ahead of Dantis Papen. So that is very much now basically a race ruiner. Spapen, who has been on the podium in both of these events so far of this traditional ACSL race, well, it's not looking likely. It's not looking likely that he can repeat the same trick. He was on for it, but not anymore. He won during the Bathurst one, and in the Nordschleife one, he was P2 behind Jason Declin, who went on to take the win that day. So it's very much now just a race all the way till the finish. Under 20 minutes of racing. We've got a battle that is developing in your picture right now at the moment. Ronnie Rontian is going for it. That is with George Given. Dantis Papen is finding himself further back down the order. So this is the closest This is one of the closest battles that we've got going on out there on the circuit. But the strategy is only one mandatory pit stop. There wasn't anything specifically that you had to do. As, oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. That is Brantos, who has had a bit of an adventure out there on the circuit, and not one that he'll want to remember, unfortunately. George Given putting pressure now on Ronnie Rontian. We watch on board as he tries to carry the momentum through. But what I was saying before we had that spin, this has very much been a race that has been decided by the strategy. There wasn't anything specific you had to do in the pit stop bar stop. So you had to actually stop. You didn't have to change tyres or do any of that. But the timing of it and getting into clean air, etc. has played such a big part and has completely transformed and changed the order. Given with some good traction. Is Lightning McQueen's car about to go through? George Given thinks he's found a gap down the inside. Oh, it's very close to the inside wall. Rontian trying to hang on. They bang car to car, door to door, and they rejoin wheel to wheel now. As Targasius takes the net lead, turns the net lead into the overall lead out there on the circuit. P6, P7, still up for grabs as we send it over the line down the pit straight. And Given has still got the advantage now with the inside, and he's taken the position for keeps this time. Rontian now will need to try and respond. A bit of an excursion there. I wonder whether that was Williams, who was the car directly ahead, who had that moment. But still now it's Rontian, the one who is producing the attacking driving. Given's the one trying to defend. Really, really close and tight stuff between them, and Given stays ahead. Given is ahead in this battle, and now Rontian will need to try and do something if he wants to try and fight back. So what is Rontian going to be able to do, I wonder, in this battle that is going on? So they make their way through out there on the circuit. Fiala is right now making their way by. A couple of positions lost. Wheel to wheel with Greenhill. Fiala still needs to make a pit stop, by the way. Basically, to summarise it up, we're now at a point where most have pit, so I'm just going to give you pretty much a summary, but we'll first of all cover this battle, which, as I mentioned, is not really like a proper battle, because Fiala still has to come in, but trying to go around the outside all the way round wasn't going to work there. Between them, Zelensky's had a moment, by the way, further back into on the circuit. So Fiala still needs to pit, and Supernova needs to pit as well, and that's it. Two drivers only who need to pit. We've for some reason had two pit stops coming. Well, Spapen came in 2 times. So did Brantos. That's due to the moments they've had, I'd assume. And then Zelensky's also pit 3 times. But you know, you only needed to pit once. The extra ones are just, I guess, there for reference, because I can't actually get it up on the screen. So just for reference there. But basically everyone's pit bar 2 drivers, which I've just named, Supernova and Fiala. Everyone else has pit, and it's a race until the end for them, pretty much. Of course, we will focus and see whether anything will happen at the front. Targasius is going to try and bring this one home. It's been a great drive by Michael Targasius, who really did it through the pit stop phase, didn't he? Lots of smoke, and the reason why is Williams off the road. We cut to him now. Rontian, stationary in the middle of the road. And that was one of the drivers who was trying to give up a bit of a fight up against George Given, and now he spins all the way down to P9 and has quite a bit of recovery to do now in this race. Targasius is pretty much now just basically needs to bring it home, but it's easier said than done because there is traffic that he's approaching. There's a battle for second, third that is on. Fiala, as I mentioned, has to still come in for that one mandatory pit stop. He's not pit in this race so far. Pozo and Shergam, P7 and P8. They're also running in close proximity together. Brandon Bartop, driver who had a DNF here during the Bathurst event with these machines. Well, it is turning out to be quite the day for him. Maybe not the one that he would want to keep long in his memory, but it's been quite the eventful event for, I think, plenty of these drivers. They've all had plenty of spins, plenty of close moments. Even if you're one of the leaders, you've had close moments. And Fiala goes round, but he'll come into the pit lane. He had to. And now that is his pit stop done. I'll just quickly check whether Supernovas did pit in between the time that we last mentioned it. But no, so Supernova has not pit in the space between us mentioning. Of course, doesn't affect the higher ends of the field anyway, but just worth mentioning for the sake of it before I start saying that everyone has made a pit stop, because that isn't true as of yet, with 12 minutes and 25 seconds on the clock to go. So Fiala rejoins the circuit. As we look over to some traffic. And there's Brown Toss momentarily going a bit slowly through that hairpin. The Shaw's hairpin, as I mentioned. It's directly before. Of course, the drivers have that bit of a speedy part of the circuit. Foot to the floor through the John Cooper S's. Really just straight. To be fair, all the way down to the hairpin. A hairpin which has caused plenty of chaos and carnage so far. Cole, I think, was on the brink of losing the car through said hairpin that we've been mentioning, but survived, kept it clean, kept it nice and well controlled, which is really fantastic to see. So, in the chat we've got it being mentioned that Michael could possibly win this. Yeah, it appears like, because we've not seen very much any major gains yet. So it doesn't appear like that Marciniak has got it yet. Of course, you've still got 11 minutes. Remember, this is 1/3 of what the races were in the Renault Clio Cup, if everyone remembers that. That's the season that I got to commentate. And then, of course, right before that, I did a huge bunch of test races. I didn't unfortunately get to cover the Bathurst event. It was very sad, but I think it was right before. So my ACSL retirement came right before that round, or that event rather. So of course I kind of retired from ACSL after the season finished, after we crowned Ride Champion. What a great season it was. Him finishing 4 points ahead of Victor Augustniak, and Dantis Pepin was third. But yeah, it's quite crazy when you go away for about a year, which, you know, from about March, from halfway March and then all the way until December, and you've had Season 3, Season 4, Season 5 and Season 6 will be completed. And now we're preparing for Season 7. A lot can happen, and we've crowned some great champions, and of course constructor champions as well. SDB Racing have been able to take the crown so far in Season 5 and Season 6. But of course, in Season 5 you had... in Season 6, of course, you had the second esports team of SBD Racing taking it. So there is somewhat of a differentiation there. It was an SBD Racing Esports 1 and 2. 1 and 2, basically. Of course, that is how they differentiate them, by having a 1 and a 2 right at the end. So two different teams in that Constructors' Championship and coming out 1 and 2. In that, my brain's about to have a nightmare if I keep saying 1 and 2. There's too many. There's too many. Right. So, we continue on into the final stretch, into the stretch of this race now. The final stages. It's a sprint all the way till the end. Pozo is getting close to George Given as he tries to, well, produce a bit of an overtake or deliver something. But well, for our race leader, it really has been the perfect strategy, and it's only a mistake that can deny him from this point onwards. But I mean, he's going wheel to wheel, isn't he? He is going wheel to wheel. So you know, the gap is now coming down to 3.2 seconds. So, but at the same time, you have to remember Marciniak is going to have to deal with the traffic himself. So while it goes in his favour, at this point, it can go against him very quickly. The only way this race is going to change is if he can clear it very quickly, and target's use is held up at a massive rate. Because it can be about luck and timing of where you see a car. Someone's just gone straight into the wall. That may have been Supernova if he's in the pit lane. I'd see him be teleported to the pit lane possibly. But yes, that's one of the ways the race can change. Another way is if Targaz just has a big contact. But this has been absolutely brilliant. This has been absolutely brilliant. And he'll know that he's got a decent advantage, considering the strategy that he did, and it only became very clear to us that he was a factor when he was in the net lead, which was the funny thing. There were a few thoughts he could possibly be definitely in the top 5, but for a podium, possibly 3rd, maybe. But no, then it became clear. Well, Marciniak is not closing in one bit. Well, now he is beginning to, but that's because of the traffic. But before that, he wasn't, and it became very clear that this is now, somehow, he went for a bit of a different strategy compared to everyone, but now it's his race to lose. It's his race to lose! Williams comes out onto the circuit and gets a smack from behind. Alex with a moment momentarily as well through the hairpin. But my word. The gap is 2.8 seconds, by the way, 2.9. It's just getting that a little bit closer. We've had quite a few jump scare moments across today, haven't we? What else did you expect though? It's ACSL, it's one of our fun races, but as I mentioned, it's a great history behind it of these machines being taken to some great venues, including Nordschleife, including Bathurst. Dantis Repen, of course, earlier on in the race had contact, and not just contact, but big contact with what I believe was Seb Williams. I can't confirm because we actually didn't see it. But my live timing suggested it was Seb Williams at the time. So we're going with that assumption, but yes, he had big contact. And then I think he just made multiple pit stops. Multiple pit stops from that point onwards. Okay, you're taking a look at George Given and Pozo. This battle that goes on between them. Let's jump on board with Pozo on the grass. That's not the part of the circuit to be on. 4 minutes to go on the clock. Remember, there is no additional lap, so when it ticks 0, that is going to be the final lap of the race. Pozo trying to get up the inside. And looming large in the mirrors and being a bit of a threat can be very handy at times. Because, well, of course, you can try to scare your rival off the road. And it appears like we've got some of the traffic that's getting up the inside of Pozo, which is which is going to be a very big hindrance because of course he's not in. It's not really his race, is it? It's not really his race, but as you can see, it's our leader. So he's got so much pace, and it can be a bit of an annoyance when you are trying to battle. But you've got the faster cars going through, a lap down. Supernova's the car you can see, well, very, very much far into the wall. He's gone long down at the turn. Battle for P10 developing as well, by the way. There's quite a few things going on out here on the circuit in the final stages, and you've got a similar situation of just, while you may have a 33 gap ahead and a 27 gap behind, you'd expect you're on your own, but no. You've got so many other cars on complete different laps, and it can lead to contact like that. Brantos is the one. It comes off slightly worse. It's a moment for Greenhill. Greenhill, stationary, and he's had a spin. He gets his foot back to the floor. He had a good advantage. He had a good advantage over Marcos. But where will it put him in comparison to Marcos? There he is. Marcos is there. He's got the momentum. 4 seconds. 3 seconds. And now Greenhill will recover. He'll go back to speed. But a big moment that Greenhill wouldn't have wanted. If he can stay there, then it's okay. But, you know, that's another jump scare that he would have had. Unsure whether that was just a mistake by himself or contact. I can't confirm. If he is on the podium, we'll be speaking to our top 3. Then maybe we can contact him and ask him about that at the end of the race. But for now, we watch on and witness some absolutely fantastic racing take place. Here is our leader. He's got a 3.4 second advantage and just needs to try and bring it home. That is the only goal he has got in front of him, as he's about to come over the line. So he comes over the line to begin what will be the penultimate lap of the race. 2 laps to go, including this one. And he's only got corners remaining before he can call himself the winner of this event. And what a moment it is going to be. There you can see George Given further back, so it's kind of nice that we've got the winner and we've got a battle in the same shot. But it's getting super close. Marcos has gone through, or it appeared like he had. I think the timings were lying to us at that moment. Another big moment of jump scare there, as we thought third and fourth had switched. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think that was just the time. That was just the timings. Apologies for that, everybody. Getting everyone excited for a battle that wasn't. Given and Pozo are going for it. But this is the final lap of the race. And the strategy, the creative strategy, as we've seen described in the live chat, is going to pay off with a 3.3 second advantage on the final tour of the race. And at the start of the day, if you told him that, he would have absolutely taken it, because we've had so many great drivers who signed up to this event, champions of ACSL, ones which have produced the history. And what a way this is going to be to start 2026 for Michael Targasius, who is making his way through towards the final few corners. The clock is at 0 and the 50-minute race will belong to him. Well, it was a qualifying that saw him in P4. He went very much different with the strategy, and it's going to pay off. The checkered flag is there. Jason Declin, Dantis Papen, and Michael Tarvasius, who takes the checkered flag and wins all of the winners of this prestigious race. Kasper Markiniak in second, and third position is going to go the way of James Greenhill. That will complete your podium. But Michael Targasius has done the job brilliantly. For an event like this, a Vaki event like this, you sometimes have to be creative and go different. And what it has led to is victory by the end of 50 minutes of competition. Absolutely fantastic. The rest of the drivers come over the line. Given, then Churgan, then Pozo, then Rontian, then Fiala and Brantos. A few more drivers still pushing on. Cars spinning in all forms of directions as well. And now the drivers can get to the celebrations. I can now say that Supernova, by the way, did come into the pit lane. He did make his pit stop earlier on. Brandon Bartop over the line. Well, he finishes this time, but in a bit of a different way. And now they can all hit each other out and enjoy themselves. But the biggest celebration of the day is your race winners. As, I mean, that might be the only thing he's attempted wrong. He's trying to do a donut. Or was he? I think he just sent it into the wall. I don't actually know whether he was attempting a donut. There we go! Donuts! Down the start finish straight! For the man who has done the job! Your third winner of these Ford cars going racing at some very, very interesting configurations of circuits. Nordschleifer Bathurst and now Mallory Park. And I can say it did deliver to the promise. So we're just enjoying these winning moments at the moment as the celebrations take place. Great scenes down the start finish straight, because it's not an endurance race, but it definitely is one of the longer ones the drivers contend with. The endurance race is happening soon though. It is happening very, very soon. You'll have driver swaps, you'll have quite a lot that will go on. This is now where the celebrations can take place. I'm just looking at the chat to see who's happy and who's not. Okay, now it is time for us to do interviews. The drivers have already been told to go to interviews, and I'm late. It's not good. It is not good, I'll tell you that. I better hurry up a little bit. I need to get to the interviews, everybody. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, I'm fine. I mean, they're arguing about who should do interviews. You know, I'm fine with whoever, but you know, I guess the top three. That's what we kind of agreed on. Right. Let's get myself in. I'm very much slow trying to get here, but we're going to do it. As well. So you can hear music go on in the background. I don't know if you actually heard it, but apparently I need to start a stage. Goodness me, I've not done any of this on Discord. It's allowing me to join the stage, everybody. It's not letting me. Very fun. Okay, hold on. Let's try figure this out, everybody. We'll figure it out together. The struggle I'm having trying to sort this out. Okay. Oh, we've got an option to mute the music. Right. I think we're getting it done. There we go. There we go. Okay. We've survived. We've actually made it onto the stage. Absolutely fantastic news. So, I think it's time now to start speaking with our drivers. So I think let's start off with P3. Let's start off with P3. We've got our audience. We've got 8 drivers who are all here. We've got 8 drivers who are all here, but there's many people. There's many people who we can speak with. Okay, well let's start off. Okay, let's start off then by speaking to Casper Markiniak, who is with us at the moment as well. I'm just hearing out of my speaker that the audio is very much wrong, so there we go. Okay, all sorted now. Hello, Casper. Welcome up to the commentary box then. How was that race for you then? It was very much a one which you had nice control of until we got to the strategy phase, really.
Yeah, it was great. I think the point where it all went wrong was when I got taken out by a backmarker being in front of Michał, and I just couldn't make it up, so I think I would have won otherwise, but just didn't work out for me. It was unfortunate. It was pretty close, and I was going right into the chicane section where you take the right and fast left after. We were right side by side, and it went fine for the first section of it, but I think Ryan slightly turned right into me, and Netco just put us together, and yeah, that was pretty much it.
Okay, before I ask you another question, quickly would just like to announce Dantis Papen has been reinstated in third position. We saw him dropping down majorly and finish very much low down, but he has been reinstated to the podium spot. So we will get to speak to him in a moment in time, but that's quickly a little change that we've had to the race order. Anyway, continuing with you, Casper, the strategy where, of course, we had Michael, the race winner, take pitting right at the start, was that ever in consideration for you, or was it always the plan to go about halfway through the race and then come in?
I have thought of doing that, but I just didn't have enough commitment to try to risk it, and I went for the typical strategy. And I think the strategy with pitting at the first lap was a bit better, but yeah, it's hard to say, and it was mainly just a stack of bad things happening throughout the race with lapped cars and stuff, so I think that option would have been pretty good as well, but I just can't say whether it would be better or not.
Yeah, absolutely. You were, of course, very quick out there on the circuit. Was there a huge amount of practice put on, or just really skill?
Yeah, there was a bit of practice involved. Probably, I would say 200 laps maybe total, so yeah, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, quite a bit. But when it comes to the season then, of course, you've started off 2026 decently, but when we especially get to the main season, what's the aims, what's the plans then for season number 7?
I definitely think that I want to be hanging around the podium, and I'm going to try to fulfill that goal. And we are going to try to get the championship, but that will be quite difficult. And yeah, we're definitely looking forward to competing for the Constructors' Championship as well with the team.
Okay, well, sounds great, and we look forward to watching on. Well, thank you very much for speaking to us, and congratulations on your result today.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, so that was Casper then speaking with us, a race that fell away pretty much from him. So who do we have next? Who am I being given next, I guess? Let's wait and see. Who am I going to get? Dantis Papen is the one who has all these nice controls, and he's going to send me someone over. There we go. Okay, we've got our driver, and it is not just a driver, it is the winning driver of this event. We've got Michael, who is now with us up here in the commentary box. Well, Michael, congratulations first of all. How does it feel then to win this prestigious event in ACSL?
Pretty normal, you know. It's just with the mind of a genius and the strategy that happened. It was meant to be, I guess. Casper didn't see it coming because the pit put me a lap down, but in fact I was ahead of him all the time. And when he pitted, I came out of the just behind him, and then it's. I feel really sorry for the guy because he got taken out by these back markers. It was just stupid by them. Yeah, the back markers were terrible the whole race. It basically they just dictated who won it. And there would have been a great fight with Casper. I had nothing to for him pace wise, but yeah, just showed the experience from the drivers. I'm the more experienced one, and I had the better traffic management than him. And yeah, I got the W with the strategy and the traffic and the management.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliantly done as well. So, similar question to you in terms of the practice and preparation. How much did you have for this event? Because you were definitely one of the quicker drivers out there. Was there a lot in it for you, like we had 200 being mentioned, or was it slightly less for you?
200, that's a ridiculous number to be honest. I learned about the race yesterday actually and
Oh.
drove like 50 laps, maybe 60. I have no clue, but yeah, that's just me, you know. I have all the pace in the world to begin with, and in this car you can't really differentiate the good from the greats. But yeah, I still managed the W, and yeah, I will show you what I've got in the 24-hour race. I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, going ahead to the main season, with the great pace that you have, will the goal be the championship? Will the goal be a similar one to what we just had Casper mentioning to us?
How do I put it? So basically, I won't be doing anything after the 24 hours of Nordschleife
Oh.
because I don't have time for competing in this series, and I have better things in my mind to do right now. I'm terribly sorry for you to hear it, but yeah, I will maybe join one or two races and dominate. We'll see. But for now, the 24-hour race is just the main thing to do, and maybe they are not gonna kick my second driver out of the race like they did in this race.
Yeah, hopefully that will be the case. Okay, well, best of luck in the 24-hour race, and we look forward to seeing how it will go for you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, sir.
No worries. That is our race winner then, as he joins Jason Declin and Dante Spapen as winners of this prestigious event. Now joining us is James Greenhill. Well, welcome, James. Great to have you with us as well. How was it out there then on the circuit?
Boring. No, no, like literally, honestly, nothing. I think nine times out of 10, nothing went wrong. I think I got the strategy right. I hit it about the 30-minute mark, and that seemed to put me right at the point where I needed to be. I got lucky with Dante as well because he came out onto the pits, he came out the pits, and I was right behind him. So thankfully, with the speed you can carry with these cars, I was able to get past him, and I was following Casper for a majority of the second half of the race as well. I didn't realize it was him until after I'd made a mistake personally, but such is life, and yeah, not too. How do I put it? Last few laps were a bit hectic. Somebody defending when they shouldn't have really been defending at all. So that put a damper on things. But overall, really good race.
Yeah, I thought it was good overall as well. But yes, traffic was definitely, I think, a big issue being complained about by all of the drivers. So in terms of practice preparation, when was it that you decided to sign up, race for this event, and also how much practice were you able to get in, if any?
So I signed up. I think it was Wednesday, and then I did honestly about 115 laps. I think it came up to on the server. I couldn't understand how Casper was able to get a 1 minute 1.6. I was just like, Jesus Christ, man. But then after about 50 or so laps, I got a 1016, and the other 65 laps were me trying to beat it, and I never did. But got plenty of practice, got used to the cars, got used to how it works, and like I said, I think it just paid off.
Yeah, I think so. It did as well. Well, goals ahead then for this season. First of all, are you competing in the season? And what's your aims ahead for that?
So I'll be competing in the MX5 Cup and the Pro Series, the Pro Sprint Series. I'm still kind of neither here nor there. I think when I made my debut, I was a top 10 driver in that race at the very least. So if I can continue that this season, that would be really nice. I think if I can get a podium this season, that would be really nice in either series. But we'll see how things start off and if I can carry any sort of momentum.
Well, hopefully it will all go great for you. Well done on today, and we look forward to witnessing the rest of the season for you then.
There we go. Thank you, Omi.
No worries. So that was James Greenhill, who was speaking to us at that moment in time. And, well, George Given really wanted an interview. He's got an interview. Welcome to the commentary box, George Given. How was that then for you?
It was a lot of fun, a lot of battling, a good result as well. I did majority of the battling with Ronnie. I was battling with Ronnie the majority of the time, but it was a good race. One thing I did forget, I forgot to do my pit stop strategy, but I hope I did it correctly. I'm not sure if I did though, but...
Yeah, to be fair, you were entertaining us probably one of the most out of any driver. We were watching you for the majority of the race. Actually, I'm just gonna interrupt myself. I'm just being given news that you've got a 10-second penalty, unfortunately. So worst timing because you're actually here with us. You've been given a 10-second penalty for causing a collision. Then, and it was reported by Brownter. So what happened at that moment then specifically for you to get given the 10-second? And do you agree with it?
I'm gonna have to agree with it because I thought I was alongside, but then when I realised he was actually taking a racing line and I was not completely alongside, which it was my fault, so I can't really say much about it.
Yeah. Well, great to hear the honesty there. In terms of then practice, as we've asked all of the other drivers, how much of it was there for you as well on the days building up to today?
Gonna be honest, today was the only time I practiced. I didn't practice too much. I'm not sure, but I practiced with Ryan Cole the majority of the time, and then I did like 5 minutes of practice in the official practice session. So not much practice, but
yeah, I saw you joining a little bit late to that, so not the most, but still a great result. Do you think with a bit more practice you possibly could have found yourself on the podium or contending a little bit higher up?
I believe so. Another reason for my lower-ish result is I believe first lap coming up to the hairpin, and I was braking not like too early, but early enough. I had someone completely. It felt like someone just didn't take their brake and just hit me completely off the track and got me a bit of damage, but it didn't like affect my damage much, but it did affect my result, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. So then, looking ahead to the season, what do you think your chances are then ahead for this season? Will it be a championship? Will it be just possibly a few wins here or there, or podiums? What's the aim?
I'm just gonna aim for probably like top 10 maybe. I know that a lot of drivers are definitely faster than me. I'm not probably not a P1 contender. I know last season I finished around top 10 in the championship. But I do believe maybe in the rookie series I may be able to take a podium potentially. I'm not sure though.
Well, it should be exciting, and you were quite quick today, so well done on that, especially considering the limited amount of practice that you had, and we will wish you the best of luck for the season ahead, but well done on today.
Thank you.
So that was George Given then, who we were just hearing from, and yes, he did get the interview. We're going to speak to it as many drivers because I know there's a few who are waiting, and I guess we'll give everyone the chance here today to have their say on the stream, especially right before the season gets going. I think it is the perfect way to do so. So let's bring up our next driver. We have got Gabriel Shergan, who has joined us up here in the commentary box.
Yeah,
Hello, Gabriel.
about that.
Go on.
Yo, hey, what's up? About that. It's pronounced Kerrigan.
My apologies. My apologies.
Yeah,
There.
I was hearing you on the live. I was like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
I can't wait to tell you about that. But overall,
Oh.
the race was nice. I wasn't planning on entering. Like 3 hours prior to the race, I wasn't quite sober. I had 2 laps of practice. Just 2 laps of practice, and qualified last. Came up P6. I'd say that's good. That's good. And also this race motivated me to actually join the endurance series. I'll actually consider it more because Brandon's been, well, not begging, but he's been telling me like maybe I join because we want to make fusion. But I was saying no, I'm not staying 2 hours. Like how will I stay 2 hours with my controller in my hands? So yeah, after this, it doesn't sound that bad.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of what I described it on stream at the time as well. A bit of a mini endurance race as well with the distance that we had. So in terms of then the season ahead for you, what's the chances looking like then? Of course, you mentioned you might do the endurance series. What else will we be seeing you in?
Rookie. I don't plan on go rookie because it's fixed setup. I don't have to mind about that. I can go in like casually. Pro, it's not a fixed setup. There's a lot of people. Even one of my friends joined, and he has nothing to do with racing, but I'd love to see what he does. And endurance, because anything can happen there. So why not?
Yeah.
Just like in this race, it was kind of a preparation for endurance.
It absolutely is a preparation for the endurance indeed. Well, congratulations, well done on today, and we are looking forward to watching you across the rest of the season.
And now for Dante, a question.
Oh.
If I wasn't qualified for endurance till now, will I be now? I made up 11 places.
Hello. I will be looking into your race.
Thank you. No penalties, though, please. Please, no penalties.
Yeah, I will see about that. Okay.
Well,
yes.
Yes, thank you very much there to Gabriel, who came to speak to us. If I am ever on an ACSL broadcast again, I'll make sure to get that name right as well. And any other drivers who I got wrong today, let me know. Let me know in DMs. You can send an angry message. Don't worry, I will see it. But now, speaking to us is Dante Spapen. Hello, Dante. Of course, a champion of ACSL in Season 4 in both the classes that we had in the Persia and also the Ginetta series that season. You had podiums in both the special races of this event in Bathurst and Nordschleife, but you are on the podium once again. It didn't look like it at the time, but you are after you've been reinstated. So could you explain first of all what happened with all of that drama that was going on?
Yeah, so there's a problem with the map where if you go slightly off the track, that lap doesn't get registered. Like it thinks that you didn't pass that part, but I did. So yeah, next lap. That's why you couldn't see my delta for an entire lap until I crossed the line again. And I was in P12, it said, but I was just driving in P4 at the time. After I lost a lot of time in the pits because I missed my pit spot 2 times. Yeah, and then I just put my back where I virtually should be, which was like P4, and then on the second or third to last lap, there was chaos because I forgot the name. Shit. the person in front of me who was P3, he got crashed out by a lapped car, and I managed to take advantage of that to virtually take P3.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, could you quickly explain as well the decision behind Mallory Park being the one that holds this next running of the event? Where did the idea come out of, and when was it really decided that we wanted to run this event, especially before the endurance race that's coming up very shortly?
I just found the mod on race department or overtake, how you want to call it, and I just thought it was fun with the car. Also, a very unique layout, not a lot of braking zones, so would have given a lot of special racing. And of course, testing the rolling start, which I think went pretty good at the
Yeah.
front, especially. So yeah, it's good to see that we can implement the 10 for the 6 hours of Nordschleife.
Yeah, it's going to be good, and all the drivers did behave themselves, so it actually worked out quite nicely. And then, of course, looking ahead to the season, the main season, what's the plans? Do we think another championship is possible for you?
No, I'm just gonna try to take a podium.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I've been a podium every season at least, so let's just
Oh.
keep that streak.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well done on today, and we look forward to seeing all of the next few weeks of ACSL and the all of the lead up to the season and then the actual season as well. Best of luck to you.
Yeah, thank you. I will put on George now. Ryan Cole, I mean.
Yes, Ryan. So we'll get Ryan up here in the commentary box. By the way, in between that gap when I was having that interview, I have been sent a message. So and I've been sent a voice message as well. So I did clearly get one of the driver's name wrong. Not looking good. Not looking good, everybody. So I'll need to review that next time. Right. Anyway, I hope I didn't get Ryan Cole wrong though. I would be very much ashamed if I did. Welcome to the commentary box, Ryan. Can you hear us?
Hello. Yes, I can.
Lovely. Main question, biggest important question. Did I get your name right?
Yes, you did.
Lovely, lovely. Okay, that's at least one that has been pronounced right today. In terms of out there on the circuit, how was it for you then? How did the event all play out?
It was all right until my game decided to give me a penalty, and it kept me in the box, so I had to restart my game, and then I was last place, but somehow I got to 13th, I think it was.
Yep, 13th indeed. And well, a lot of the drivers were mentioning about some of the other traffic. We had plenty of different drivers out there on the circuit in different positions a few laps down. Was that any much of an issue for you?
Sometimes, because they would ram me and like push me off the track.
Yeah, we noticed quite a bit of that taking place across the circuit. So, in terms of your preparation then for this event, when was it that you decided to sign up, and then how much preparation were you able to get in?
I didn't do much preparation, but I did get, I think it was 15 laps in. I was doing it with George.
Oh, nice, lovely. Great to hear that you were practicing with George. To be fair, I did see you in the VC call and that you were practicing. So great to hear. Then for the season ahead, what's your plans and how is all of that looking like as we build up to the season very shortly, and of course the 24 hours race as well?
Yes, I will be trying to participate in the 24-hour Nürburgring, and also I want to try and get more better at racing, so I can see if I can finally get a podium.
Well, that is some great plans indeed. We look forward to seeing whether you will be able to do it, and we hopefully will be able to speak to you more often in the commentary box.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay, well, have a good evening, and we'll speak to you very,
too.
very soon as well. Okay, so...
Hello.
Yes, next up we've got Brandon Barter. I would like to apologise, not 24. I've got the 24. I'm covering the 24 hours of Daytona next week. 24 hours is in my head, and of course you've got the iRacing one going on this week. So it's there's too many 24-hour races, and I'm already dreading Le Mans later this year because I believe it clashes with F1 as well. So I've got too much 24-hour races in my head. So yes, 6 hours, everybody. That is the amount of that race. Anyway, Brandon, welcome. Hello. How are you doing?
Thank you.
And how was that race?
Well, race performance-wise, I mean, I disconnected 3 times because of my internet. I may have caused a couple of people to crash into me, but apart from that, it was okay. It was very fun. I didn't really want to say, talk about my race that much. I just wanted to say, how much you've improved in commentating. Because I remember when you used to commentate ACSL in the first seasons. You used to Clio when we did the Clio Cup. You were really good, but now you've become a lot more confident. So it's really nice to see, and obviously it's nice to see you back here as well. It's nice to see you commentating at least something. But yeah, you're a very good commentator. I just want to thank you. It was yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to say. There's not much I should have said, about my race because I didn't do very well. But yeah, that's all I really had to say.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, very, very kind words. Thank you to you for stopping by and having a little bit of a conversation. So yeah, great job out there, I guess. Well done for turning up, I guess, and wanting to participate. And I look forward to watching you across the rest of this season.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so it's lovely to see you again, and
Yes.
yeah, hope to see you soon.
Hopefully.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, that was Brandon Bartop, everybody, as he returns back to the audience, and we are done. And it feels like we are done, unless Christian wants to talk to us about basically anything. Of course, your commentator for this season, last season, season 6, he's done a great job. He doesn't want to speak to us. But yes, you've heard him across the season. So if you do want to listen to him more, then you can find the live streams on the ACSL channel, of course, along with all the season 2 and all of the other stuff that we've also covered, and some of the test races, some of the wacky test races. I remember stuff like we did a Legends race once. That was very chaotic. We did an F1 race once. If you like chaos and cars going left, right, center, then that might be the races for you to go watch. But yes, well, that brings an end to this broadcast. It has been great to have your company wherever you have been watching us in the world. It has been a great event. But we aren't done. Of course, make sure to join our Discord server to keep an eye on all of the future events that are coming up here at ACSL. And of course, we have got the 6 hours of Nürburgring coming up very, very shortly. And then, of course, it leads us and continues to build us towards our season. So I'd like to thank everyone who has participated, to all of the drivers for putting on an absolutely brilliant show. And we will be back very, very soon for more racing here at ACSL. Goodbye.